Welcome to the Bridetender podcast. I'm your host, Estee Levin, and I'm here to tend to the brides like I tend to the bar. So mix yourself a cocktail and let's get ready to discuss all things weddings. Today, I'm here with Hannah Barnes from Planning Pod, and we have a little bit of a different kind of episode. Normally, we gear a lot to the brides, but today we want to gear a little bit more to the wedding professionals and how we can make work a little easier, less stressful, less time consuming. So I'm going to let Hannah tell us more about the program that she works for. She is the marketing manager with Planning Pod. So yes. Hannah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you located? I'm in New York.
So I'm located in Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'm on mountain time over here. Most of us at Planning Pod live in Colorado, but we have a couple folks out of state because we're a full remote company. So we have co-CEOs, one of whom lives here in Denver. His name is Jeff. And then the other, his name is Steve. He lives in North Carolina. And then I think we have one product specialist who lives in Houston. The rest of us are kind of scattered around Colorado.
Very cool. I still have yet to go there, but I'm sure it's very busy right now with skiing season.
Oh, yeah. I'm a bad Coloradan. I'm a terrible skier. So I'm not dealing with that traffic in and out of the mountains, thankfully.
Thank God for that, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Planning Pod, really start from scratch over here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the company began under a different business name. The business name then was My Wedding Workbook. And we evolved, we were just a software for wedding planners back then. And the software itself is the brainchild of Jeff and Steve, our co-CEOs. They wanted to provide something to make life easier for busy professionals. And who is busier than a wedding professional trying to deal with all of the minutiae, details, aesthetics, clients, all that stuff. So it's really, wedding planning, that's our bread and butter. That's what we started serving. Also, if you hear some bells in the background, I apologize. My cat is doing some acrobatics while we're talking. In any case, so that's how we began. And then we started realizing that across the events industry, people were in need of an all-in-one solution to make their job easier. One place to house their data, one place to manage their business processes and their workflows, documents, vision boards, all that stuff. So we've started expanding and catering to more than just wedding professionals. We also cater to wedding venues of any type, really, catering services, and full service planners, anyone across the events industry. We've got something to make their lives easier. So that's really where we're at this point.
So now, do people do their floor plans within your format, or they just input it into there?
Okay, so yeah, floor plans, there are a couple different ways that you can do it. And I love our floor plans tool. That's something that we're really happy to have alongside everything else. So you can either upload a background image, like if you already have a blueprint of a space or something like that, that can be uploaded and scaled through our floor plans tool. Or if you want to build your floor plan from scratch, if you don't have an existing blueprint, you don't have an existing layout to work off of, you can do that with wall segments too. So there are a couple of different ways to manage that in floor plans. I know a lot of people who upload their blueprint, scale it, and then just leave it there so that they can drag and drop chairs on top, and chairs, tables, dance floor, whatever, what have you. So and that's kind of a theme throughout our system. There's no just one locked in way for you to do something. We like to provide a few different avenues to accomplish what you're after so that it suits your business and your workflows, and you don't have to just be, shoved into this one way of doing things.
So now I come from the catering ends of the business, also the planning ends of the business. So I kind of do two different things, but can different vendors utilize this platform under the same event?
Do you mean like different vendors who are offering a package of some type, like someone offering linens, florals versus someone offering catering?
More so like, let's say there's one event that certain vendors and a caterer is working on together. Can they both go into this like one event and kind of like rearrange whether it's floor plans or menus and like all have access to this one event if they're on the software, if they have like access to this?
Yes, absolutely. So the way our access works is there's an owner of an account, but there are 4 different user subgroups to that account as well. In addition to that, there's a client portal access, which is kind of unique to it.
Yeah.
So in those 4 different user groups, permissions are fully customizable. So, let's say we have someone who wants certain permissions for their caterer, who might need access to food and beverage tools, BEOS, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got a different access group for their event coordinator, who might be dealing with the seating chart, with the floor plan, stuff like that. You can customize access based on the user group so that whatever vendor or coordinator is getting in there to collaborate, they don't have to see a whole mess of things that might overwhelm them, so they get confused about where they're going. They can just see what they're working on within that individual event. Or if you want them to have fuller access, you can do that too. It's really fully customizable, but there's no limit to how many people can access an event as long as they're assigned to it. And they're granted access to the software, then yes, they can come in and do their collaboration.
It sounds really good. I actually come from utilizing Triple Seat, if you know about Triple Seat and All Seated. Weirdly enough, we're not using those together just yet, but I have used All Seated in a past position, which I think is one of like, it's like the easiest platforms for floor plans. Like, I think it is a huge game changer. Yeah, I feel like a platform like that, to be able to have something like that within everything else would really simplify a lot of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm familiar with All Seated and Triple Seat. All Seated's platform, they have an amazing design aspect to what they're doing, the 3-dimensional stuff. We don't have, like, our floor plans aren't quite to that degree, which is okay. We're like, what, All is rocking the design side of things, and I think it's fabulous for people to have that really molecular control over all the details. So for folks that are diehard All Seated people, I completely get it. A beautiful piece of software, which is great. So yeah, our floor plans are a little bit on the simpler side, but that's great to know that would be appealing for any event professional to bring more of that design aspect in. We really, our philosophy is developing our tools based on the insights of real event pros. So stuff like this, like conversations with people like you, make me really happy and excited because we get to hear what it is that would benefit you. We get to hear what would really push our software to be the best it possibly can be, because we believe no matter how good it is, it can always be better. We're always going to look for ways to work on it. So I appreciate that a lot.
I think living in a world of Pinterest and vision boards and all of these things, we have to be just so conscious about the technology. And I think anybody who doesn't look for new ways, they're never going to grow in business, because like that's just, it's the future. I mean, we saw during the pandemic, look at all these people who needed to use Zoom to show their ceremony.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine trying to do a Zoom wedding. I'm sure you were much closer to that.
I think I was too close to that. But I mean, I know I got married and I had no intention of doing anything with Zoom. It was, it was definitely a full wedding, but there were people who couldn't make it. So I had to figure out getting Zoom for the ceremony. It was like,
oh my
what a
God.
nightmare.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So I listened to a few of your episodes and I saw that you had gotten married recently. Congratulations, by the way. Is
Thank
your
you. Yes,
anniversary
it goes
month?
very fast. Hmm?
Anniversary month, February?
Yes, yep. Just had my 1 year anniversary. It's crazy. It went so fast. So
It's insane. Yeah, I agree with you on the technology front. This is the only way to have any sort of tech company is to make sure you're constantly looking ahead to the next thing. You're constantly looking ahead to what would better serve your audience, what would better serve your verticals. That stuff's really important to us. It's always how we've done things. And we're constantly gonna keep talking to people in this industry and keep generating conversations because that's what propels things forward.
So, I did have a question for you because when I was looking on the website and just trying to familiarize myself with Planning Pod, now there's like a section of it that's also lead generation, right?
Yes. So in terms of lead gen, that's actually a really good thing to talk about. We have a full suite of leads management tools, and we also have an integration with Wedding Wire in the Knot. So
Okay.
if people have Wedding Wire in the Knot set up to get some leads,
Mhm.
you can set up an integration to funnel those directly into Planning Pod, so you don't have to lift a finger to create a new lead. And then that information follows your lead all the way through to booking. There's no double entry or anything like that. You can set up you can also set up custom lead capture forms, like brand them as fully as you like with whatever fonts and colors and shapes and aesthetics that you want. Embed those on your website too. So anyone that fills out that lead capture form that you created through Planning Pod also gets funneled right into the system. So there's no, talking to someone, writing down their information, typing it into your program, all that stuff. Takes way too much time.
It's true. I mean, it's also with all of these platforms where you as a wedding professional can get leads through the Knot, Wedding Wire, Here Comes the Guide, pretty much Zola. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to be able to have it all in one place because I mean, there was a time, really not that long ago, where you had to log into every single portal, answer on every single thing, and it just becomes kind of confusing to really stay organized if everything isn't all in one place.
Exactly. It's just too much. And for folks that are getting apparently words are hard. Excuse me, let me try that again. For folks that are getting leads from more than just Wedding Wire and the Knot, uh, my recommendation, since that's our integration as it stands right now, is anywhere you can push your lead capture form from Planning Pod, like there's a share URL that you can give to people. Anywhere you can push that so that when people give you their information, they give it to you through that form, the better, because that's what's going to minimize your double entry. So I used to do training, some stuff on the training side of the company too, because we offer some pretty robust software training for our users. And that's something I always recommend. And I'm like, you need to use the crap out of that lead capture form link, put it wherever you can. That is what's going to save you time. That's what's going to bring all the information into your centralized location.
I was actually just going to ask you about training and kind of how that works. Like, I think I think that this is just coming from a catering background, a big company, that when you roll something out, it's easier to train when there's just a small group of people. But when there's a big rollout with a big team, I could imagine that you probably send people to like do hands-on training.
Well, we do our training remotely, but we do one-on-one training with a customer service manager. I'm sorry, customer success manager, and one of our training specialists. And for larger organizations, we offer multiple training sessions as well. So our priority is always to make sure that whoever's going to have their hands in the software knows what they're doing and also has a custom learning path through it, because we're an all-in-one software. We got a lot going on in our program, which is great. But with that, comes the need to guide people through it so they understand how it applies to their current processes. So we typically, when an account comes in for training, everyone, first of all, no matter the account level, no matter the package level that you have, gets access to an LMS system we have called Planning Pod Academy. That's an online learning module that is customized to the user. So based on the information we get from the person that set up their account, we will tell them, hey, okay, great, you're a wedding planner. Let's make sure that we're going to walk you through how to create a lead, take it through to an event, set up an itinerary template, set up your floor plan, all that gets included. And it might be different from, demographic to demographic. So a caterer would have more emphasis on the food and beverage tools, BEOS. So not only do they get that custom learning path through the LMS, but they get in contact with our training team and get one-on-one sessions with a customer success manager that's dedicated to their account so that their specific questions get answered. Any number of people can participate in those sessions. It's not limited to one of us and one of you. It would be one of us and whoever in your team needs their questions answered. And we can set up multiple sessions as well based on account level, or if accounts want more training sessions than that, we can offer that at a low cost too.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. What does having this program cost? What would be the subscription fee? And I'm sure it varies based on how many users and things like that per program, but kind of what's a gauge of what people could expect to pay?
Sure. Yeah. So it varies. And we do not price by number of users. An unlimited number of people can access our platform. There's no additional cost for that. So the way we price is typically by event count. So the number of active events you'd be managing at any one given time. So for that, and we just changed our pricing. So let me pull up my pricing sheet here. For planners that are just getting started, just getting their business off the ground, we start our pricing at $74 monthly or $59 annually. That's our lowest level package. That's also the planner or event management version of our software. Mm-hmm. It does not include food and beverage or BEO tools. So that's intended for anyone who doesn't need that stuff. Because of course we're an all-in-one solution, but if you don't need certain things, we don't want you to have to pay for them. So that's the lowest level of our event management software in terms of pricing. And then for venue management software, which does include those food and beverage management tools and your BEOs, the BEO is my favorite tool ever. It's so versatile, it's so useful. For that one, our lowest level package begins at $179 monthly, or it comes out to $149 monthly if you pay annually. So those are our low price points. We also offer floor plans only version of our software. That one is priced a little bit differently. Our lowest level of floor plans only is $49 monthly if you pay monthly, or $39 a month if you pay annually. So those are the low price points. We can accommodate any event capacity. So if, we have a few large accounts who do thousands of events a year. For those folks, the price point definitely goes up, but we're not in the business of nickel and diming people. So we don't price per tool. We don't price per, not per user that's accessing the account. But I mean, for someone that would be doing 2,000 events that are being managed by a massive team simultaneously, that pricing gets up into $500-$600 range per month. But there's everything in between as well. This is all based on event capacity, and it's built to grow with you, because there are a lot of people who are just getting started in their events business, but they have really big goals, wanting to expand and have a company of their own. We really want to suit the needs of those people. So we offer those lower price points to get started. And because we're basing our pricing on event capacity, we really want to be the tool that can stick around to help people grow for the long haul.
And I mean, it sounds like you guys are really kind of covering all of these bases. So I mean, and coming in at an affordable rate.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not the cheapest solution that exists. And that's for a reason. It's because we believe in the quality of our tools. We believe in the quality of the service that we provide to people. But it's not our business to nickel and dime folks. We don't like when that happens to us. Everyone's flown on an airline and you're like, man, I gotta pay 5 different fees just to get from A to B. I thought it was just the ticket. Like, that's not how we do business. So we're always going to keep our pricing pretty simple, so that it is something that can benefit event professionals all across the industry.
And with things like if a business already has certain documents, menus, things in place, they could give them to you and you can input that into the platform for them.
That's correct. Yes, we do offer some data migration services. A friend of mine is our data migration specialist. She's also studying data integrity and stuff like that right now as a doctorate student. So she's got great insight on moving data from one place to another. And yeah, we can do that on request. Most folks that utilize that are much larger organizations.
Right.
Restaurants with set menus, set packages, and stuff like that. Of course, if data migration is out of your budget, that's what we have our training team here for. We have them here to show you exactly how these things work, exactly how you can set them up, exactly how you can add an upcharge to certain items in a package, stuff like that. So yes, we offer both options there.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me.
I'm glad.
I like things that are made definitely like simpler. I think if you're a business that's still like fully working off like pen and paper, it's just like we're living in a different kind of world now where like everything in a way has to be virtual and really done by like phone, by computer, email, things like that. Is this um is this program actually an app? Like, is it an app that you can put on your phone?
Oh, it's not a native app at this moment, but if it is something that you want to have on your phone that behaves like an app, all of our tools, with the exception of floor plans, are fully mobile compatible. Floor plans is trickier because of drag and drop functionality that gets really tricky on a touchscreen device. But other than that, everything works exactly as it would on desktop, right on your phone. So yeah, a lot of people, we have them save the page as an icon on their phone or their iPad so that they don't have to go to Safari or Chrome and type in planningpod.com again. So that's one way to make it easier to just access your own account. But as of now, not a native app.
It's kind of hard for programs like this in a way to be an app because it's just like when there's things where you kind of almost like require a keyboard, it's a little tough to like do all of that really from like the nature of a phone. So I totally understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how long has Planning Pod been around? I know you said it was a different company prior to changing names.
Yeah, let's see, I believe our founders got the thing started in 2009.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny, like we still think of ourselves as a startup because we're pretty small. We only have 11 employees. A lot of people think we're way bigger than that because we're really attentive to our users. We want to make sure that they're served well. But yeah, it's been around for a hot minute. Both of our CEOs worked in marketing before they started this project. They had an ad agency together as well. So yeah, it's one of those things where I think because it's been around for a good amount of time and because we've evolved so much, it makes me an organization to be really proud to be a part of because I see that evolution really clearly in our tools. And it's just a shining example of what our founders prioritize in their philosophy, which is we're going to keep developing our stuff and make sure that it's the best it can be at any given time.
Yeah. I mean, I think plus the fact that you guys are really still working to like do more and more with this, it goes to show that you're like staying up to date with the times that we're in. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, God willing, we'll never have another COVID era that we've had for the past 3 years, but
knocking on wood right now.
but I feel like um if anything that the pandemic showed us, it showed that you really had to like pivot in the way that you operate business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be flexible if you're going to stay afloat in an unexpected time of difficulty. That's super important. And yeah, I'm really excited to continue conversations like you and I are having right now. We haven't done too many podcasts in the past, but we're starting to branch out into that. And as a marketer, it makes me excited because this is the juice, like talking to
Yep,
people and
it
hearing
is.
what they need. So this is the kind of thing I'm just excited to keep doing.
Well, Hannah, when like people listen to this, how can they reach you? What's the best way to reach you to kind of find out more about the company and see about really coming on and bringing their business to it?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best ways to reach us is via chat directly at planningpod.com. There's a live chat widget there. I will let you know if you go there right now, you might see me pop up as the person you're talking to because I started at this company in customer support. That was my very first job. So it was me at the time. And now we have a team of support specialists that work with us, but that's great. You can chat into us there, or you can email us at support@planningpod.com. We are on top of our support tickets. We get back to people within 24 hours. So we will make sure that we get your questions answered if you're not sure if we're the right fit, or if you're just poking around and exploring and trying to find out more. We've got you with that too. You can also follow us on social media. We're active everywhere. I have a fabulous new social media coordinator that is making sure of that. And you'll be able to click on some of our stuff and opt into our e-newsletter there too, if you'd like more information. Even if you're not here to buy a software, if you just want more information about the industry and how we're serving it, we'd love to hear from you. So those are the best ways.
That sounds good. And yes, we got to give social media a little plug. That's definitely what we do over here. So everybody has to go follow at Planning Pod, learn some more in regards to the software, the business, how they can take your business to the next level. Yeah, we gotta plug over here. That's what we do. Well, Hannah, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today, giving us some insight into Planning Pod. I think as much as I always interview different vendors, I think it's so important for vendors in the industry to always like grab some more education on things that they can do to enhance their business or really just enhance their communication with other people in the business and with clients. And if there's easier ways to do that, such as Planning Pod, really like having direct communication through one platform and keeping organization all in one place, I mean, it's a no-brainer in my book.
I love seeing that. And yeah, I agree. We want to make things easier for event professionals so they can focus more on the joy of what they're doing in managing events, because that's why y'all do what you do, right? You want to bring people together. You want to give them memories, give them beautiful experiences that they're never going to forget. So we want to take out the minutia, take out the busy work, make it easier for you to do all that stuff. And yeah, that's the story.
Well, Hannah, I appreciate you coming on today. I'm sure that we'll be seeing each other all over social media, as well as maybe we'll have you come back on again soon and, give some updates, anything new that pops up with Planning Pod.
Yes, I'd love to. I know we're looking at doing some lives on social. I'd love for you to join us as well if you have the time.
I'd love that.
Love to hear from you about your experience in catering sales and planning. So yes, we'll definitely be in touch.
That sounds good to me. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Bridetender podcast, where we put out a new episode every single Wednesday for Wedding Wednesday. If you're not already following me on Instagram, please go follow me at the Bridetender for all fun facts on the wedding industry, ways to save money on your special day, and of course, hiring the best in the business for your wedding. Go follow Planning Pod at Planning Pod for all fun, interesting facts on the industry, business, how you can, save time, save money, save energy, and put everything into one platform for the best way to stay organized. Until next week, mix yourself a cocktail, slide into my DMs with questions you want answered on all things weddings. Stay sane, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.